My name is Raul Duran. I'm the Vice President of Community Development for Arvest Bank. I worked for banking, 22 years now. My story goes way back to a little town called Garden City, Kansas. It's a little kind of farming community, kind of quiet, but the diversity in that town is what made me who I am today. Many languages spoken. It's a beautiful thing. Just, people from all over the world that come together. It's such a beautiful thing. I started in banking because I just graduated from high school, and I worked at a video game arcade that was across the street from a bank. And the reason I chose to work at that arcade is because most of my friends worked there, and I thought, it's gonna be fun. Well, I didn't know what I was gonna do after I graduated high school. I just knew I needed to continue on. What that on meant was I didn't quite know, but I knew I had to continue because my father, my mother, they were immigrants to the United States, and my father worked at not one but two beef packing plants, one in the day and one at night. He worked in the hides department, which, if anyone ever knows that type of work, it's extremely hard, extremely cold in the winter, and extremely warm in the summer. And one day, for a science project, I needed some water to look under a microscope, and we needed to just see some really dirty water. He says, well, I've got that. Because in his job, the hides would come down on chains, and it would go in a vat and it would get cleaned. His job was to pick those hides up and put them on a chain, and it would take them back out. So he gave me a sample of the water, but he said, I'm not gonna get it for you. You're gonna come out and you're gonna see it firsthand. And so I went out and I saw what he was doing, and it blew me away. And he says, so son, you've got two options. You can either continue on with your education after you graduate high school, or you can join me. Well, I tell you what, I saw how hard he was working and how dirty it was, and I said, that is not the life for me. So I continued on. So graduated high school, and I said, okay, well, my thought was, what am I gonna do with the rest of my life? I didn't know, so I just thought short term. Fun, friends. I was working at this arcade. It was open until about 11 or 12 o'clock at night. It wasn't the most safe though. I wasn't thinking about that though. So a lot of times there were gangs, gang patrol. I had a gun put in my ribs, knives, the whole bit, fighting, the whole bit, right? And I was supposed to be in charge of that. Well, I'd go over to a bank to get tokens, or change for my tokens. And if anyone's familiar with tokens, you just get a lot of change. So I went across the street to the bank, and they started to notice who I was, right? In the bank, it's pretty important. They know who's coming in and out of the bank. So they asked me one day, Raul, we see you in here all the time. Why is that? And I said, well, I work across the street at this arcade. It's interesting. So they said, do you mind if we ask if you're bilingual? And I said, absolutely. Yeah, I sure am. And they said, awesome. You have cash handling experience and you're bilingual. We're looking for someone. Have you ever thought about a career in banking? Now, mind you, here's this kid. I didn't have it. I had probably had one set of clothes for church, and I hated tucking in my shirts. I was a jeans and a t-shirt type of person. I didn't know how to tie a tie. I didn't own any ties, so that intimidated me. When I walked in, everybody was quiet, so it just I kind of felt out of place. But graduating high school, I said, okay, well, this is a job that's more of a grown-up type job. People will maybe respect me a little bit more. It was safer, and they said, do you have better hours? Absolutely. I didn't have to work 11, 12-hour days, and it paid better. So I thought, I'll just do this while I'm figuring life out. And so I did, not knowing that 22 years later, here I still would be in banking. So it's proven a tremendous opportunity. Not only have I opened accounts, I've been a teller, I've done consumer loans, mortgages, commercial loans, and all of that has kind of gave me the opportunity to give back and be able to provide financial education to show folks that they can do it, that it can be successful. One of the things, again, that I kind of started to get just a sense for education is I got to do that for my parents. I interpreted documents, legal documents that no 10-year-old should ever be interpreting. I had to go with them to doctor's appointments. I'm the one that helped close their home loan. I probably didn't know half the terminology that I was interpreting, but there I was. So I thought, there's got to be a better and easier way. I said, I could do that, right? So now learning the other side, I could help folks reach that financial goal. And that's what made me who I am today. So again, I'm Raul Duran, and that's why I am a first-round draft pick.